Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, brothers and sisters, fellow YouTube citizens, people just wish to stop by. Of course, Hebrew Israelite brothers and sisters, I always got to greet you all. And hey, like I said, many more. Moving on right into it, cause I be having this little pop up come up sometimes when I start recording. I'll be like, what in the world? So you getting kind of startled because you be claiming my mic is not activated, and so a lot of times I have to cut the video off and on in order to or reset the video to make sure the mic is activated. So I won't post the video mouth moving and can't hear nothing. But getting right to it now to share more untold history. Now I'm sure some of the stuff I've been sharing about Hitler, some of it is on YouTube where you have sources and references and to research it yourself. You can read about it, books, etc. And then there's some stuff that's just pure revelation that is not in a book, is not in a documentary, and comes straight from God. But it's pieces that link to the history, the untold stories that's already out there about him. So, moving on. Now, I got a little bit more to share because, like I said, the Spirit just led me to Hitler, and it's like so many pieces. Like it's the picture is getting broader and broader that have been zooming in on Hitler. Now, how does a world war start? How does a world war start? Normally, a world war starts when a person or a country has a country that has a lot of allies is being attacked or doing the attacking. Hitler, being a socialist, had a lot of allies. Hitler had a lot of support. The reason World War II started was because of Hitler alone. Now, think about this for a sec. How is it that one man can start a world war? How is it that one country can start a world war? Look at America and Afghan when the Bush administration decided to do the shock and awe campaign and this so-called war on terror. Of course, going over there bombing Afghan and searching for Osama bin Laden, and you see the rest of the world stood still while America and Afghan went at it. While the pretty much invasion of America took place over in Afghan for their oil. But the alibi was going over there to establish a democracy and a war on terror. That was the alibi. I always need an excuse in order to do crime or do wrong. Okay. The rest of the world stood still. Nobody else participated. Britain didn't jump in, France, nobody participated. It was solely between America and Afghanistan. Just like with Israel and Gaza, the same thing. It was solely between the Israelis, the fake Jews, and Gaza. And when it was Iran and the Israelis, it was solely between them, and the rest of the world stood still. Nobody else jumped in. They just left it between the two. But when Hitler decided to invade Poland, the rest of the world jumped in. Why? Was Hitler that powerful? Was, I don't know, Poland, was that supported, by the rest of the world? No. What it was, Hitler had a regime. He had a coalition. Hitler had a lot of support. He had the Koreans. He had the Muslims. He had the Asians. Hitler had a lot of support. Socialism, National Socialism, was becoming very popular, and it was something originated from Hitler. Hitler had a lot of support, he had a lot of respect, and Hitler had a lot of power. So not only in Germany was people, hail Hitler, but also all over the world. Yeah, all over the world. You had Asians saying hail Hitler. Matter of fact, if you look at South Korea, or was it North Korea, or both, you got Kim Jong Un that had the uniform like a Nazi, how they have a star that represents, their nation, just like Hitler had the Nazi symbol to represent their nation on their uniform, where Kim Jong Un had the same, well, not the exact same symbol, but a symbol representing their nation. And in uniform and the way the soldiers marched and how everybody, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say pay homage, but respect unto Kim Jong Un. In the same way they pay respect to Kim Jong Un, now is the same way they pay respect to Hitler. So he actually copycatted off Hitler because they had that great amount of respect for Hitler. So Hitler had a lot of power. Hitler had a lot of respect. He had a lot of alliances. So that's why when Hitler invaded Poland, it was the beginning of the World War because he had all these allies. And America was one of the enemies. And also, basically, anybody who was part of the Hitler regime was an enemy to America. I mean, America was not a part of the Hitler regime. The Jewish people was not part of the Hitler regime. Britain was not part of the Hitler regime. France, Poland. So that's where this World War started, where America, Britain, France, Poland teamed up, and then you had Germany, you had parts of Asia, what Korea, you had Muslims, they team up. And that's where the World War started. Is because Hitler. He had a lot of support. And the agenda of the American and British, the UK and France and whatnot, is where Freemasonry, Illuminati, the establishment, the elite, that was going on. It's still going on. And Hitler was fighting against this tyranny, basically. It was basically a tyranny that he was fighting against. But Hitler was looked at as the tyrant. But he was fighting against tyranny. That's why he had so much support. I mean, if you think about it, why would multiple nations decide to support a man who's a horrible person? Why would they support a man who's a tyrant, who's just this big bully? No other nations would support. Hitler had way more enemies, but Hitler had a lot of support. It wasn't just Germany that supported him, it was other nations all over the world that was part of his regime, and they believed in what he believed in. They supported his views. They stood by him. So that's why to this day, America is enemies towards Muslims. Like, what do Muslims do to Americans? What do they do? What's the terror? What's the reason America, we got to go over here and we got to rectify these Muslims? Well, the whole point of this rectifying and invade Muslims sometimes involves the Jewish people, the fake Jews, because of their alliance with them. And sometimes it's just basically being a bully. It's like, hey, you was part of the Hitler regime. So the major disrespect towards Muslims is not their beliefs, but it's the fact that this was one of Hitler's allies. So that's why Muslims are enemies to Americans, not all Americans, but I say radicals and over here in America, and also in the state of Israel, fake Jews. I gotta keep emphasizing it. That's why the Muslims are enemies over here to America and also to the state of Israel, because Muslims was allies to Hitler. They was part of the Hitler regime. So that's why that hatred. That's also with America and China. America and China are not allies. You know, they was associates. You know, they just socialized with one another because America was doing business with China. Just like with Pearl Harbor in Japan. Yeah, also the Japanese, you know, with Pearl Harbor. You know, that the Japanese was also part of the Hitler regime. It was so many other countries that was part of the Hitler regime. So that's why America got all these enemies, because all the enemies of this country was part of the Hitler regime in World War II. So that's that hatred is still there, by the way. It's still there. And that's the reason why this country has military bases all over the world to try to keep tabs of what each country is doing. So it's keeping tabs of the enemy. That's why you have a U.S. Embassy, you know, to stay in the know. That's the whole point of the CIA, you know, always trying to stay in the know of what's going on. So when you have the media showing what's going on in different parts of the world, it's not that they really care. No, it's that they trying to keep tabs on what's going on over in the territory of their enemies. So it's not like, oh, this horrible things going on in this part of the world. And it's horrible, because it's a lot of things horrible that's happening right in the States. It's a lot of things horrible that's happening in the state of Israel. Now, think about this for a sec. Why do you think there's hardly no news coverage in the state of Israel? Because it's a lot of Jewish people in the media that owns part of the media, bankers, etc. So since a lot of Jewish people control or own a lot of the media, why do you think there's never hardly any coverage go on in the state of Israel? What's going on? You know why? Because any signs of weakness within the state of Israel, the enemies of the Jewish people will find out what's going on. And that looks at they look at that as an opportunity to attack. So they don't want to show any type of vulnerability. So that's why you see coverage over here in America is what's going on. You see coverage everywhere else all over the world, but you don't hardly see any coverage in the state of Israel. The only time you do see some coverage in the state of Israel is probably how well they're doing. But you never gonna hardly see how bad they doing, because that shows Gaza and Iran and Korea and all these other people who enemies to the Jewish people and the Germans, etc., that here's some vulnerability right here. You know, here's an opportunity, probably invade or attack. So that's why they don't hardly cover what's going on with them. But they're in the rest of the world, yeah, they keeping tabs. And like I said, it's not that they care, but it's the whole agenda to make it seem like the reason we showing this coverage is because we care. No, it's because they keeping tabs on enemies. Yeah. You know, they trying to be slick, you know, like, oh, we can make it seem like that we care, we concerned, but it's really you spying, you know. So it's like this journalism, like you got news reporters over there that do journalism, that act like they just covering this story, you know, acting like they just putting this out to the world, as if, man, you know, it's empathizing with these people, you know, empathizing with this situation, and they're not. It's just basically a slick spine, but it's done in a way where we're trying to help your cause. So they go over there and they do a story, and they doing research, and they all in the community and seeing, learning the ins and outs, the strengths and weaknesses. They learning some of everything, but making it seem like it's all for their cause. It's all to help them out and trying to get this out to the world to show that they need help, when it's really revealing the condition of their enemies. That's all it is. So it goes deep. So, but that's how world wars are started. World wars are started when you have a country that has a whole lot of allies that's going to war or being attacked. You know, so just like with America and Iran, when Bush was trying to go after Ahmadinejad the same way as Osama bin Laden. Ahmadinejad, over Iran, their prime minister, they was ready. They was super confident because they already know that the minute America step foot on their soil, it's automatically World War III because Russia gonna team up, North Korea, South Korea team up, China gonna team up. Well, it's South Korea, I believe. No, it's North Korea. North Korea teams up, China teams up, Russia teams up, Afghan gonna team up because America over there, you got American presence over there, so you know Afghanistan gonna team up. They all gonna team up on America and bye bye. There's no winning. I mean, nukes, missiles, some of it gonna fly everywhere. It's gonna look like a thunderstorm. So that right there, that's why the Bush administration withdrew. Like, no, you know what? Because Bush was like, oh, it kept on. It was Bush, they kept on showing on the news. Bush not demon job. Bush not a demon job. Like Bush talking about going over there. And you saw he withdraw because Bush knew if we step foot on their soil, it's gonna be World War III. Bush realized that Russia, China, and all they was gonna team up automatically. Like if you touch them, if you come over here, it is instantly World War III. So Bush didn't want that on his conscience nor on his hands. That he was responsible for World War III. He didn't want that. So that's why he backed out. So just want to share that information on how world wars are started. Now you may wonder how a World War would be started. World War III, how would it come about in these times? China. If America owes a lot of debt to China. You know what also? What people don't know is a lot of Europeans over here in Americas that's under the name American is also in debt to the Jewish people. See, at first America was helping out the Jewish people. And with the alliance, of course, doing a lot of funding, giving them weapons, and helping to build up the state of Israel. So America engaged so much to the Jewish people that it reversed where the Jewish people end up being rich and wealthy off America and end up having to borrow money from the people that they helped out. The same way as China. How China got rich and wealthy off America. So it's like it reversed. It's like America rich and wealthy off China because of cheap labor. But then end up spending so much money because thinking we just I don't know limitlessly wealthy, unlimitedly wealthy, I just made up a word, but yeah, and or with just wealth with no ends that can spend, like, we'll get it right back, we'll make it right back. So because so much spending going on within the country, it led to a lot of debt because America got full of herself, thinking that we so rich and wealthy and powerful that we'll get it right back, and it didn't work out that way. So what people don't know is not only is America in debt to China, but also in debt to a lot of Jewish people because who are the bankers? A lot of bankers are Jewish or own banks. A lot of international banks or banks are owned by Jewish people. So also in debt to Jewish people or the so-called Jews, which we all know, those who were educated know who the real Jews are. So that's what they're not putting out in the media as well. You're putting out in debt to China, but you're also in debt to the Jewish people too. Owe them as well. So it's amazing how the same people this country got rich off of the same people got rich off this country, got rich off America. It's like China was trying to build themselves up, and the state of Israel trying to build themselves up. Because after the war took place, China was hurting for a while, looking for labor, and trying to, trying to survive, trying to build up their economy and get back on feet after the World War II. Same way with the Jewish community after the Holocaust and after World War II, trying to get on feet. So America then gave out so much and did so much for others and practically starving herself or then starved herself. So that's what led to this great deficit that this country is in because of giving, giving, giving and spending, 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 but no saving and conserving. So in debt to not only China, but also to the Jewish community. To a lot, I would just basically say the state of Israel as well. I owe them a lot. It's interesting, isn't it? So just thought I'd share that and go ahead and wrap it up. And glad I kept the video a lot shorter this time. And just want to share more information about how world wars started and more information about Hitler. Like I said, he was a well-respected man. He was not as bad as the enemies of Hitler paint him out to be. Because you got to remember, America was an enemy of Germany. It still is. They're just not showing it here. They living isolated, doing their own thing. But America is an enemy of Germany and an enemy of Hitler. So why would you expect the enemy of Hitler to tell the truth about him and who he really was? Just something to think about. So brothers and sisters, I'm going to leave it at that and get to the rest of my to-do list. But as always, I hope y'all are blessed by what I share and just getting your peace of mind as always. So I always depart by saying, peace be unto you all in Christ for life.